Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I'm joined today by Mark Tudor, the new CEO of ARORA. Mark just started his position in January of this year, so he's the newest CEO joining us. And Mark, congratulations on becoming CEO, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Steve. I'm glad to be here.
Mark, before we begin jumping into questions, I thought I'd give you an opportunity to explain sort of your background, your career, your donation, and sort of how your progression. So for folks who don't know you.
I think my first job out of school was as a dialysis tech. So I was always taking care of people with kidney failure since my release from school. Then I signed on to Life Connection of Ohio, and I worked 5 years in Life Connection of Ohio. Then transitioned up to Gift of Life in Michigan. And I was there for almost 20 years, about 19 and a half years. Then I spent a year over at Virginia at LifeNet, and then I made my journey down here to ARORA. So I've been in the industry just over 25 years.
Oh, great. That's a great history. And again, congratulations. So I thought we'd just jump into some questions. Mark, how would you describe your leadership style?
Well, I think I'm probably more of a transitional leader. I think given my experience with the longevity in this career, my personal experience of my daughter becoming an organ donor 4 years ago, I think I tend to inspire people and probably try to lead by example. I think everything that I've gone through really just shows the passion that I have for this industry. I try to be a role model for the behavior which I want my staff to have, and I think that's very encouraging.
That's great. And you did talk about your daughter becoming a donor. Do you want to share that story with anybody who may not have heard it?
Well, I'll give you the short, brief version, so I don't break out in tears. But 4 years ago, she had a tonsillectomy in which the surgeon cut her carotid artery in 4 places or nicked it. So we spent about a month in the hospital. She progressed to brain death. We actually made the decision to withdraw support. And then the day before we withdrew support, she progressed to brain death. But she was able to donate 6 organs: her heart, her lungs, her liver, and her kidneys. And we've actually met both kidney recipients, the liver and the lung recipient. So we're extremely happy to have a new extended family. As hard as it was to lose a loved one, we did find a lot of joy, and we still have joy with our new extended family and watching these people thrive and live a life that they never had before transplant. So once again, that's kind of what drives me.
And it's a great reminder of why we do what we do and why we continue to push to save more lives. So I'm sure it drives your mission every day and what you bring to those around you. And I know you're new to ARORA. You described yourself as a transitional leader. How do you see ARORA changing over the next several years, and how do you see yourself and your team creating that change?
Well, I think for ARORA, over the next 2 years, we have a really robust staffing plan where we're looking at throwing the appropriate amount of resources at our referrals and making sure that we can give every family the opportunity for donation. Typically, ARORA in the past did about 10 to 16% DCDs. So far in 2022, we're around 60% of our donors have been actually DCD donations. So we've actually started honoring first-person authorizations, making sure that the registry means something in this state. And it's working very well. So I think with our staffing plan, honoring first-person authorization, working with our hospital partners, getting the education out there, these are things that that we have been doing, but we've put a greater emphasis on it over these next 2 years. That's for sure.
Well, and good luck with that. And it sounds like a great plan to move you guys forward. So I'm hopeful you get the results you want, and if there's anything the association can do to support that, I'm more than happy to support you. Can you talk about leaders in the community, either on the transplant side, donation side, that you look up to and that you may want to emulate, or that you're reaching out and getting advice from?
Well, I think starting in this industry, I think the one person I looked up to the most was probably Mike Phillips, who was the CEO of Life Connection. I think he worked in Alabama for a while as well. He taught me this job, the ins and outs. I've learned every position from preservation to coordinator to hospital development, and he really helped me be a rounded person. I'll always be grateful for Mike for that. And then working most of those years with Rich Petrosky in Michigan, Rich was definitely an innovator and believed in research, and now he has that a big grasp in one bioengineering for the last several years. So he's somebody I always looked up to when it came to the innovation realm. And then I got the opportunity to work with Dory. I've known Dory for a long time, for time in Columbus and now in Michigan. And Dory's a very strong leader, and she's kind of like my backbone. Every now and then I feel like I can call her and ask her a question or just shoot something by her, and she's been extremely supportive. So I think this whole industry is like that. I've met transplant surgeons. The surgeon who actually transplanted both of my daughter's kidneys is one of my best friends that we stay in contact with, and he helps me see things in a different light as well. So, and his name is Dr. Michael Reese from University of Medical Center in Toledo. So he's been a wonderful person for me as well.
That's great, and it is a wonderful community, a very supportive community, and it's great that you have others that you've been reaching out to and who support you in this transition and can help. You're coming into ARORA new, and is there a motto? Is there a saying? Is there something that you're using to energize your staff, spoken or unspoken, to drive you guys forward?
You know, I looked at this and I actually asked a couple of people about, you know, what is our motto around here? We really didn't have a motto or something that we say to kind of see what we're doing on a daily basis. But I think the biggest thing that we've done, or at least that I've done since I've been here, is just talk about accountability. And when I talk about accountability, it really comes back to our core values. And we have 4 core values: adaptable, forthright, kind, and dedicated. And we really hold people to that. And especially when it comes to being kind and providing excellent customer service to our internal and our external partners. But I think that's what we kind of focus on in every meeting and every one of our decisions, to make sure that those core values are upheld.
Yeah, and that's great, because the core values can help you as you're going through this change over the next several years. So great that you guys have rallied around those. Finally, you gave us a brief overview of your career and how you got here. Is there a favorite thing about your career, something that really stands out that you're proud of, that you want folks to know about?
Well, I did talk a little bit about my daughter already, and I'm proud about that. I mean, I work in an industry that, you know, for 20 years I made or help people come to the donation decision and help support them and provide them this opportunity. And when I had this happen to my own family, you know, I'm proud of my daughter for making her wishes known, and the legacy, and, you know, her being a hero and what she left behind. That's probably one of the most favorite things about my career. The bonds that I've made with all the donor families. I still have donor families that I stay in touch with to the day that are 10 years deep into this relationship. You know, I just feel like once you get involved in this, it's kind of contagious and it's hard to let go. And there are some people and some things about your career you'll remember forever. And I have those type of those impacts and those type of relationships currently, and I couldn't change it for the world.
And that's great. It speaks to your service to others and your focus on service to others. So I think it's great, and it's wonderful that you have your daughter's legacy and you can carry that forward as you approach your career and as you work throughout this industry. So good luck. As I said, if there's anything the association can never do, we appreciate supporting you. But thank you for spending your time with us. Is there any final thoughts you want to leave us or the viewers with?
No, I really appreciate the association. We're extremely happy to continue to be a member of the association. You guys have provided best practices for the industry for so many years. That's propelled a lot of what we do. You've also tied into our AMAT initiatives and helped increase the DEI initiatives this year. So those are things that are passionate to me and moving forward. You know, we appreciate all your support.
Well, thank you. And again, thank you for taking time to spend a few minutes with us, and so folks can get to know you better.
Thanks, Steve.